Hey everyone, welcome back to the Lakers Fast Break. And where else are we at, John?
We are in the Lakers corner, and we're kicking it with Clutch Talk, man. We with everybody today.
We are multi-streaming live to wherever we can. It is Gerald Glassford, along with my good friend Mr. John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. Please go ahead and check out all those great channels. Subscribe today to all of our great channels. Got to give the love as well to the Legend 350, of course, also as well Stone Hansen, the Lakerholics crew, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, also as well Lakers in 5, and of course Joe Soros, Simblades with a Y.com, and Oxide247, LakersBall.com. Hopefully he'll join us as well. So many great people, so many great places that you can follow and subscribe to. And of course, do it right here with us, wherever you're catching this with John Costa and myself, Gerald Glassford. I finally got a chance to catch up with this guy. Man, I'm just so happy because you are back on all of our channels. We thought we'd multi-stream for the first time. It's great. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But you're here to talk basketball and the Los Angeles Lakers, my friend. So where do you want to go first?
Man, man. I mean, what's kind of upsetting is the fact that I just feel like the Lakers haven't been as active this offseason as we want them to be, especially for content creators like us. You would love to see just moves left and right, so you get to be making all these videos talking about it. But the Lakers have kind of stand pat. I mean, partially blame LeBron for that, for taking so much money, not taking a pay cut. Um, but
Well, he
what I
did take a little bit of a pay cut because Rob Pelinka, in his infinite wisdom, I'll use for a lack of better term, um, kind of boxed the Lakers into a corner financially.
Yeah, made it kind of tough for us. Once again, our front office is silly, to be honest. And this isn't something that is new to all Lakers fans. We all know how silly the front office can be, starting with Jeannie and Rob. But Gerald, I mean, we can start anywhere. I guess I feel like what Lakers Nation's been talking about a lot, at least what I've been talking about on my Lakers page, is just LeBron James and Anthony Davis dominating the Olympics so far. I know Austin Rivers put out this tweet talking about how that LeBron and Anthony Davis are the best players on the best team, hence the championship win over the Lakers should still be open. I know that's got a lot of people talking. ESPN was all talking about it. So I mean, we can start there, Joe. I mean, what's your thoughts with that? How do you feel? Do you think the Lakers championship window is still open?
Well, congratulations first to LeBron for being the flag bearer, along with
Yes.
Coco Gauff, to the Olympic Games coming up on for the opening ceremony on Friday, and their Olympics drive begins on Sunday. Um, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough for Team USA. I don't think it'll be a cakewalk at all, but I do want to say that I am concerned, like Joe is. Hopefully, you can get him on the air as well. He was talking about it last night. Is how much energy does LeBron James and Anthony Davis have to put out in order to go ahead and get the job done here? And will that translate them to being fatigued, tired, easily injured come the season? Now, I said before on the show last night as well, 44 and a half wins, Vegas and all the other gambling outlets seem to be consistent on 44 and a half wins for the Los Angeles Lakers. That's not good, my friend. That puts them right around what, 9th or 10th in the Western Conference. That is not going to get it done. I think they're anticipating. And as far as an injury to one of those guys when they're talking about 44 and a half. But with those two playing at their level, they're at least competitive, my friend. I'll give them that. But the problem is, my friend, they need a number 3, and they don't have a consistent number 3 to get them going. D'Lo, your man, and Austin Reeves, great players for what they do, but they're a 4 and a 5. They need a consistent number 3. Dalton Connect, you got to give him some looks. You got to give him some, open shots. If you can, he may sneak in as the rookie of the year, but you still need that one dynamic player that's going to allow LeBron and AD not to have to play 38 to 40 minutes during the regular season each game. That's the problem. The reason why they're looking so good now, part of the reason why, John, is they're only playing averaging 20 minutes a game. That is
Mhm.
a substantial decrease over what they do in the normal regular season. So they look and appear fresh because of it. And I don't know. And obviously, that's not sustainable during a regular NBA season. But if you could give them someone that could come in there, John, and help them out consistently without having to rely on a D'Lo and Reeves, and just you get extra bonus from them, man, that would make it so much easier for me to have confidence in the Lakers.
So that's actually a really interesting take. So what you're saying is that they're only, I mean, not only, but the biggest reason or part of the reason that they're playing this well is because they're only having to play 20 minutes a night, so they're not as fatigued, and in those 20 minutes they can give it all they got. Versus in the regular season, they're gonna have to play a lot more than 20 minutes a night if we want to be successful, and then they'll be fatigued. Is that what you're getting at? 'Cause that's a really good.
There are other mitigating factors like the international play. As you've
Mhm,
seen,
mhm,
some players actually play better. Like, for instance, Dennis Schroeder. He has
mhm.
played much better on the international scene than what he has done in the NBA on a consistent basis. Maybe the international style right now caters to what AD and LeBron are doing. You could probably take some of that into context as far as the way the spacing is, because everything's a little bit different in international play. Not as just the fact that you're only playing 40 minutes. It's also the fact that you're the style of play as far as what you can do, what you can't do, the length of the shot as far as the three-pointer is concerned. All these things are different factors. Like, for instance, South Sudan, none of those guys right now are in the NBA. Yet how close did they come to beating Team USA the other day? Because they're just so used to that international style play. So it just seems to cater some players better than others. KD, if he should get back healthy, he's the leading scorer all time for Team USA. He would be a big help because he is used to and really, I guess, acclimated to the international style of play. So I think that's a small part of it. But yeah, playing 20 minutes a game, you're allowed to give much more energy and be fresher because of it.
Yeah, that's honestly a really good take, Gerald. I'm not gonna lie. Like I haven't feel like I haven't even necessarily thought about it in that way. And to everybody in the chat that was saying what's up to me, man, what's up, everybody? I just saw the chat now, to be honest, because I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I can't see the chat through Talk Studios, but I'm on YouTube on the sides here, so I see the chat. Thank
Okay.
you, Jay. Thank you, Daniel, Kurt, everybody, man. It's good to see
CB, what's up?
what's going
By the way,
on.
Comic Con is in San Diego. They have a sister show, WonderCon. I get invited to all the time. That's in LA, just to let you know. Comic Con this weekend. Sorry, geeking out there, my friend. Sorry,
No,
geeking out.
do it, do it. I
Yes,
love
yeah,
it. Cool, bro, in the building, man. Cool,
yeah.
bro.
Well, okay. So let's go. I might have to go. Okay. Good luck on trying to get a ticket there. You have to buy them a year in advance. So good luck trying to get into Comic Con. I've been trying to get into Comic Con as a member press now. That's my one, two. There's two places I haven't got to as a member of the press, and that's the one. That's the hard one for me. But getting back to what we're talking about with Team USA, their task is tough, John. I don't think it'll be a cakewalk. I think with Serbia, South Sudan, those teams did. Yeah, I think Serbia they did blow out, but with Jokic on the team, I don't think it'll be as easy as it was last week for them. But translating that into success for the Lakers, we talked about that last night. The problem is the depth around us, the Lakers. I mean, how much confidence do you have in the depth around LeBron and AD?
Very little, very little. To be honest with you, very little. Especially when it comes to like confidence when we need you come playoff time. Especially when it comes to just you know players that can be there throughout an 82 game season to allow us to be able to get good seating, and players who are even going to be able to get even better during during the playoffs. And right now, like I feel like we have some players who can be inconsistent during the regular season and then uh disappear during playoffs, which is sad to say, but I mean that's where I feel like we're at, to be honest, unfortunately.
And
With
that's part of
that.
the problem because I was asked last week. I shocked our audience last week. I don't know how I do that, but I shocked part of our audience last week when they asked me how many players, if you were GM right now and you could cut any amount of players that you could, how many players would you cut off the Lakers roster? And I said 8 right now off the 15-man roster, which
Let me
is
see.
8, and I would have no sleep, loss of sleep in doing that because yeah, this is as far as not a very deep roster. There's some teams out there that really have a lot of depth, but yeah, Parade on Figueroa on Twitch. You're awesome, man. I just truly appreciate the time that you take out there and to watch us here. Do you expect any move by Palinka before the season starts? They're stuck against the cap. He bungled the cap to now he's stuck on it. Next year, he's got some room if he's still our GM. But the problem is, John, you have to do, or the trade deadline has to work out some sort of miracle. But he is $45,000 away from the second tax apron. All those players that he signed the previous year picked up, except for Torian Prince, picked up the second year on their contract. So all those players that didn't get it done for us last year, the Cam Reddishes, the Jackson Hayes, uh, Christian Woods, we're counting on them after all three of those guys had lackluster seasons. So that's where you really start to get you worry about what the problems are as far as him managing the money. And then you've got the failed draft picks in Maxwell Lewis, who did not impress me in summer league, which is bad for a second year player because second year players have to dominate. And JHS, who was in street clothes during summer league because of his back surgery. That's money right there. Bronny James, I know that bothers Joe. For me, I just, again, the odds are against Bronny James from succeeding because 9 of the last 10 55 picks have not been consistent players in this league. Although Isaiah Wong, we'll see if he can actually stick with the team. But Aaron Wiggins is the only one, by the way, that has actually gotten a second contract. Big shout out to him in OKC. But yeah, it's just concerning how much you're a problem with the Lakers because not only are they against the cap, John, they don't have the depth over sustainable season to help out LeBron and AD sufficiently.
Yeah, I mean, where I feel like I don't know if you ever
Not
read
to
that.
mention the Max Christie. However you feel about Max Christie, that's the only signing in free agency that we really had.
You got, man, Gerald. I've told a couple people this before, and I tell my brother this all the time when I talk about Lakers. We talk about Lakers all the time, but I will stand on this take right here. I really, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, do not believe that Max Christie is an NBA level talent player. Like I really, genuinely don't believe so. From what I have seen this man play, I would rather have him in the G League and develop because we're not
Rodell
in.
is going to send Rodell. Please mention. Okay, go to. I will forward your hate email for John Costa to him. Don't worry, because you said that, Rodell will actually let me know tomorrow. But go ahead, your reasoning why. So
No, honestly, I mean, the way I felt about Max Christie from the beginning, and he definitely what I'm saying, took a jump from year one and year two, but I feel like from the beginning he was just too small, and then he did get a little bit bigger, got in the weight room. You could see that on him, and then after, I just feel like his decision making is just so poor, and I think sometimes he just plays like he's in college basketball. Like, and it's really hard to describe unless you kind of like really watch the game. I feel like he's playing a type of game that does not, exceed have success in the NBA. Like in the NBA, what it really is can I beat you off the dribble? Like it's like, can I get angle? It's all about angles, and if I could beat you out, if I could beat you off the dribble. Because if you could beat somebody off the dribble every single time, you're gonna be able to get an angle every single time. And I just don't see that kid doing it. His shot inconsistent. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know why, but I've always had this. I don't want to say hate, but like I just always had this disliking for Max Christie, and it's so upsetting to me the fact that he takes up a roster spot when he could
He's a
be,
second round pick, just like Lewis and like Bronny. So the odds against these guys becoming rotation players, John, they're longer. I mean,
yeah,
there are certainly some great success stories in the second round. Nikola Jokic would be number
Jalen
one.
Brunson.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson right there. But it is longer odds for second round picks to make a contribution. I still think Christie will become a late rotation player in the league, but I just think it's the thing where maybe the fourth or the fifth year or sixth year of his career, he'll finally figure it out. But by then, he'll be long gone from the Lakers. So I think it was a bad deal as well. I just don't think, he's not strong enough and he doesn't shoot well enough right now.
Yeah.
So he hurts you on both ends and he's not consistent on both ends. And in doing so, and all apologies to Rodell, because you're going to send me a nasty letter too. So it's just that, again, I don't see it right now, him giving you consistent help on the Lakers roster. So I know that he got mad at me for my affirmation of Dalton Connect, because I saw Dalton Connect live a couple weeks ago at the Thomas and Mack against Houston. I liked what I saw both on and off the court of how he not only treated and respected the audience, the fans, and stuff off the court, but on the court, I think he has enough game that he can provide skills in different areas. Now, his defense is still atrocious. I mean, you and me just holding out a red cape like a matador would probably do better than what he does right now, and that's against summer league talent. But that has to get to an adequate level for Dalton Connect. But the kid has a good stroke, a much better stroke than Max Christie's right now, and that's something that is definable, something that you can utilize. I do think he's pretty heady. I saw some good passing from him. He finds himself in good positions as far as for rebounding. So I do see good signs for him, and he's got to realize, Dalton Connect, that you can't just be a 1-note player in the league. I pointed out that 4 or 5 years ago, you could be a 1-note player in the league. You could be just a 3-point shooter, and you can stay in the league. But as we see Landry Shamet and Davis Bertans still looking for jobs because they both got their big contracts just finished, and nobody wants them now, because that's all they can do is shoot threes. They can't play defense. They can't help you rebound. They can't facilitate. They can't do thing as a second playmaker. They can't do anything else. So they aren't as valuable as they once were, because the league has transitioned to you needing more than one skill. And so when it comes back to Max Christie, I just don't think he's been able to develop one particular set of skills well enough to stay in the league right now. But I do think he will do so at some time. I just don't think the Lakers will have enough patience for it.
I mean, we shouldn't have enough patience for it. I mean, look where we are. We should be in win now mode, in my opinion, with having a damn near 40-year
You
old
would think.
LeBron. Yeah, right. You would think, right? Like having 40-year old LeBron James and having Anthony Davis in his prime, like we should be in win now mode. And one thing I do want to highlight real quick, Gerald, that you had brought up is players that are like the Landry Shamits, the one-dimensional players are like getting pushed out of the league. I think that's a great point. I always talk about that when it comes to the players like Hassan Whiteside, who were just like really good at one thing but couldn't do much else. But what another thing that I talk about as well is like the NBA is getting to the point where like if you're a defensive liability, like you're gonna get played off the court eventually at some point. So it's like
Or an
everyone
offensive liability like Jared Vanderbilt.
exactly right. So you have to be able, like basketball is getting to the point where you have to be able to be like good at. You have to be able to be decent, serviceable at literally everything, right? I think
Mhm.
the only way you can get away with not being serviceable at something is if you are like like for example, Luka Doncic, right? I think Luka, like you would be dumb as a coach to be like, oh man, I'm gonna take Luka out of the game so he doesn't get exploited on the defensive end because of what he brings you on the offensive end is just too much to give
Yeah,
up.
he's
But
so good
he's
yeah,
you're right.
on the
Exactly.
offensive end.
He's so good on the offensive end that you're like, you know what? Like, I'm okay with what he's gonna give up on the defense end because he's gonna probably give us that and much more on the offensive end. But like 99% of players that are,
They're not elite.
they're not elite. They're not bringing so much on the other end that it's like, wow, I can't keep them off the court. So that's why I think like it's really getting like the league is pushing to the point where it's getting like if you cannot at least do everything on the court a little bit serviceable, you're gonna get played off the court.
I hear you, my
So
friend. Absolutely. But again, when it comes right down to it, I'm not trying to provide hate for Max Christie, and I know when you and Stone and Joe say he's not even at an NBA level, it's not. It's just your perception and it's your opinion. He doesn't have the worst contract in the world, but $8 million is still something right now on a team right now this year. It kind of hurts you because of how
wow.
close we are to the second tax apron. I want to touch on something Hernan's been saying. Big shout out to Hernan. Um, he said, Gerald, I know you're against this, but I'd rather see Austin on the second unit. I'm not against it. I actually am for it. I actually said, if that's the thing, you got to have the faith in Dalton. If Dalton hits for the Lakers, he will be the starting shooting guard or small forward, Hernan. If he hits, I am fully for it. And if the Lakers, I think, are going to get a better stage, Joe says if Dalton starts, the Lakers are in trouble. I think if Dalton starts, John, the Lakers could be better off. I
I
think
mean,
Austin is better off coming off the bench as your sixth man and could be
I'm
sixth man of the year material.
he absolutely could be six man of the year material because like I feel like those guys are just always like microwave scorers, and that's really what he can be. Just come off the bench and just give buckets. So I agree with that take. I want to see how it's going to play out, before I give a definitive answer of if Dalton starts or not. But I agree that he can be really good. Like he is starting material. Like theory, like on theory and on paper, he's starting material. But I need to see it because as a basketball player myself, I know that saying it is one thing, and then doing it when you're right there on the court is a whole different thing, especially at the NBA level.
I know that JSJ says, he says he thinks we're forgetting about Vando. Joe and I talked about it last night. What is his health like? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he signed that extension already feeling it in his foot and the foot injury that cost him almost the entire season this past season. He came back, looked pretty bad for a couple weeks, finally started to look decent because they finally started using him in the dunker spot where he wasn't as bad of a problem offensively, but then he got hurt again and he was pretty much out for the rest of the season. So we're not forgetting Vando, JSJ. I just don't think he is so bad on one end of the court. That's the problem.
That's what we're
And as
talking
we
about.
saw in the Denver series 2 years ago, not this last Denver series, but the year before, where they played him off the court
Mm-hmm.
because of its inefficiencies. That's the problem, JSJ. You can't have that in a playoff matchup. I'm not talking about during the regular season. When I talk about all these pluses and minuses, John, I always seem to focus my conversations on what it's like during the playoffs. When I talk about D'Lo, D'Lo is a great regular season player, a very good regular season player. It fills up the slots, gets you the games, gets you the points. It's great. He'll get you some 20 games. He'll get you some 30 games. He'll go off. He'll do his thing. But what happens, and you're the biggest fan of D'Angelo Russell, what have you seen from him over the course of his career
Dips
in the
in the playoffs.
playoffs?
Dips in the playoffs. Dramatically dips in the playoffs. Unfortunately. I mean, but one thing that's real, and like I feel like people sometimes don't take into account of the fact that like playoff basketball, like it's a whole different thing, man. Like I swear to you, these guys, some of them, they are so good at the game of basketball, and I know sometimes it's hard to comprehend that like they're genuinely not taking it as serious in the regular season, or they're not giving it their all. I'm not saying every single player, but some of these guys, Jimmy Butler, for an example, guarantee to you, regular season, he's just not giving it his all. You watch that playoff, it's like seeing a whole different player. Jimmy Butler, he just doesn't care. Like he just doesn't care in general. So like I feel like you could see it in his numbers, you could see it in his play. But if you really watch, like watch a team very closely this year, and a team that you know is going to make the playoffs, and they know they're going to make the playoffs. Watch them during the regular season, and then watch them during playoffs. It's like honestly kind of like watching two different teams, to be honest with you.
We
Which I
talk
respect.
we talk about Max Christie plugging up about $8 million a year of the salary cap for the Lakers. I have bigger concerns about Vanderbilt and Gabe Vincent. What are those guys going to give you for their, what is it, mid-level salary, essentially at 11 and $12 million per? Those are contracts that you put them together. That would be nice to go and trade them, but who wants them?
Yeah,
Who wants those guys right now after coming off these lost seasons? So they have, along with Max Christie, have really got something to prove. But that's a great portion. Those are three guys in your back end rotation I can't count on right now. They have to show me that they're healthy first and that they can consistently provide for you the next.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I feel like if you can't perform in the playoffs, like why would I trade for you? Like why would I want you on my team? Like I don't want to be a regular season champion. And that's part of one of my biggest qualms with Rudy Gobert, right? Is the fact that like man, I think he's an amazing defender, like an amazing defender during regular season. And I think he can also, to an extent, do it in the playoffs. But it just gets to a point in today's basketball where it becomes find the mismatch. And if he's on the court, all you gotta do is go small, eventually and get that switch because like in a 24-second shot clock, depending on how willing your role players are, you could set a whole bunch of on ball and off ball screens to force some switches. You get a favorable mismatch, and then at this point it's just about me just beating you to the hoop. So man, I mean,
Dylan says Houston has a better roster than the Lakers. From 3 to 15, Dylan, I can't argue with you. You
yeah,
just got
like,
so many wings, six
for
seven,
sure.
6'8", 6'9" guys that can score. They're athletic. You have got more wings, I think, than anybody out there in the NBA. I really think if and yes, the wings, the 6'7", 6'8" guys who can shoot, score, defend, and are athletic, they're a commodity in the
Come on.
NBA. And it seems like Houston, the one smart thing that they've done, maybe OKC can be at that level too, is they've cornered the market on those type of wings. And yeah, absolutely. Just he said, Houston does have a better 3 through 15 roster, but it's that 1-2 that may hold Houston back because they don't have that one or two players yet that have stepped up to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to take us to the promised land. If once you guys do, watch out. Watch out for Houston.
Yeah, no, I don't even think, to be honest, like I think his name was Dylan. I don't even think that's a debate. Like what? Like they absolutely have a better, I feel like like roster than us, but I also don't think that they have that number one guy
Reed
just yet.
Shepard, though, looks good.
But
Reed
Reed Shepard
Shepard,
he looks like a coach's dream as a player. But you
saw
know
him
who I
live. He
you know
saw him
who I
live. It's really
oh, you
good
saw
looking.
him live?
I saw him live,
How was
and
that,
he's really
Gerald?
good.
Man, I'm so upset I didn't
That
get summer
that
league.
was that first game at Summer League,
How was that?
and as again, this is where we talked about the defense for Dalton Connect. I know everybody that's out there that watched the game, you saw that play where Shepard put him in an ISO and made him look stupid. So that's obviously something that Connect has to work on, but you can see it with Shepard. You can see he was out there in his first game, comfortable, shooting the ball well, distributing the ball well, making the right moves. He's got quick hands, so he gets steals. Here's a possibility he could be in the top 10 in steals for you guys. So Dylan, you got a great pick, and possibly the only thing that would hold him back is if he doesn't get enough time in being one of the top candidates for the rookie of the year. The only thing is, how much time are you going to give a guy that's 6'3"? He's like brawny height. Brawny height as far as concerned, 6'1" and a half without shoes, 6'3" in shoes or whatever you want to say. And I just will tell you right now, John, I saw him live and he looked like the real deal.
Let's
He
see.
looked like
Let's see. I mean, yeah, offensively he'll be the real deal, but just like how we said, is he gonna being 6'3", being a small guard, is he gonna be one of those defensive liabilities that eventually gets played off the court? We will see. But
he's got quick hands, man. He
Mhm.
will get a lot of steals. I can tell you that. He is smart. He's heady. I've watched his time in Kentucky. He'll find ways to make up for any height deficiencies
Mhm.
in his game. I think he's going to be a really solid pro.
And one other thing I do want to, well, two things I want to say. Well, one, well, I said, well, both me and you agree the fact that the Rockets don't have that like 1A guy. I agree that they don't have that 1A guy based on what we've seen so far, but I think Sengun's about to take a whole nother step this year. Sengun is amazing. I love him. And then Bloodhound says I think he was trolling Dylan because he said Dylan Lakers will take Sengun. So I would love that. I thought it was Dylan that said Lakers are going to take
Well,
Sengun. So I would love that.
offensively, I wouldn't argue with you on that. It's just he would have to have so many other anchors on defense because that's always going to hold him back, John.
Sengun's defense.
Yeah, Sengun's
Yeah.
defense is it's not at the you can win and win effectively with Sengun. How much you can win is dependent on his defense. You talked about Gobert uh, as far as his inadequacies on the offensive end or how you can single him out on the defense. I think Minnesota could still and should have still beaten Dallas in that series, but I lay the problem instead of Gobert, which you can usually fault him in the playoffs. I laid it more at the feet of Cat and Edwards, who went
Yes.
in talking a lot of smack. They looked really good in those first two series and just didn't get it done offensively. They were horrible offensively, and I think that's where Minnesota, really took a pounding. Hopefully they, for them, if you're a fan of theirs, they use this as a lesson and will come back because I think this is the type of team Gobert can stay on the court for in the playoffs if Cat is shooting from the outside and Edwards is scoring like a beast. You can get
What I
away with Gobert on the.
what I will say is this. For that situation, I think the Timberwolves have made it perfect for them to be able to have Rudy Gobert out there, and when they need to hide him, they can hide him. But that's because they have the luxury of having basically three centers, to be honest, right? They have Rudy, they have Cat, who can run as a center or as that four, because he's like a stretch 4 or 5, however you want to call it, and they have Nasri, who legitimately can start on probably 29 other teams in the league. So I think that they have the ability to be able to keep Rudy out there when they need to, quarters 1 through 3. But then, late in the game when it becomes just a switcheroo thing, and I'm just looking for the switch, you can hide him off the court. Yes, I agree with you on the point of Carl Anthony Towns. He definitely didn't show up as much as he needed to in that series. Anthony Edwards started to choke. But one thing I'll say is that I think that like you remember that step? I think it was like game 2 or game 3, the step back that Luca hit over Rudy Gobert. Like
Mhm.
that right there was a prime example of like at some point in the game or in the series or in the season, however you want to look at this, we're gonna get to a point where if you're on this court, like it's a mismatch. Like I remember I was watching the game with my friend, and I literally told my friend, I was like, I guarantee because there was like 9 seconds left, no shot clock. So they had all. So Luca, 9 seconds is a lot of time for Luca to be able to dribble, 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 get whatever switch he wants. I told my friend, I was like, I guarantee Luca's gonna get the switch on Rudy, and he's gonna just take him to the cup, or he's just gonna get his step back on him, or just be able to get by him. Because I was like, I guarantee it's gonna happen. So the Timberwolves cannot have Rudy on the court at that time. Turns out they ended up having Rudy on the court.
But I
Exactly.
will come back at you. and I will come back at you to my point and say, it would have never come down to that point, my friend, if Carl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards hadn't have shot 9 for 33.
Okay, and I'll give you that. I absolutely will give you that, and that is real. Like they shouldn't have even let it get there. But I think like that's just what I'm saying. Like overall, is the concept of like, man, at some point, at some time, you're gonna end up getting exposed. So why
Oh yeah,
even have
oh
these
yeah.
kind of players on your team? You know?
I get it, but I think if there's any team that Rudy Gobert can succeed again on, and believe me, I know he's a problem depending on the type of team you have. I think it's this one, but Towns and Edwards have to play up to their capabilities. If they're not, then
Agree.
Gobert does stick out like a sore thumb, and I will
Uh,
agree with you.
absolutely agree. Absolutely agree, Gerald.
Again, just love chewing the fat with you, my friend. Always good to have you on. As far as that's concerned, it is John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner, plus also me, Gerald Glassford, the Lakers Fast Break. Again, if you are new to the channel, I should say channels, please subscribe because you're going to see a lot more of all of us on channels going forward, as far as all of each other channels cross promoting things of that nature, and it's my honor, and I'm very privileged to be able to go ahead and work with John on that. I think it's to my benefit. I've seen the work that he's done. He's done an outstanding job of providing NBA coverage and also Lakers coverage out there on his channels, and glad to be a part of it, my friend. Glad to be a part of it.
Appreciate you, Gerald. I am super happy. I get to be a part of the Lakers Fast Break family. I love the Lakers Fast Break family. It's the best. I always say it's the best Lakers community. Even though I have a Lakers channel myself, this is still the best Lakers community. I love this community.
It's all because of you guys out there, and it's truly appreciated. But before we head on out, my friend, I mean, your thoughts on the summer league? I know we can't leave without some Bronny talk. I told you about my time at summer league. Overall, I know that they had a hard time as a team. They did win their last 3. Did go 3-5 on the season. Dylan says, I wanted to trade Jalen Green for an all-star. I hope we get Kawhi. But Dylan, if you trade for Kawhi, you also get Kawhi's knees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
that doesn't stay at the Intuit Dome or the toilet bowl, as we like to call it here.
toilet
Yeah,
bowl. I love that.
yes, because Steve Ballmer's so proud of his toilets that are going to be state of the art in that. He's bragging about that. If that's how it came about, as far as that's concerned. But
I
yeah,
love that.
yeah. I mean, Kawhi, can you trust him to stay healthy anymore
You
in this
can't.
point of his career?
You really cannot trust Kawhi Leonard to stay healthy, and it's frustrating as a Clippers fan, but also just as like a basketball someone who loves watching the game of basketball. It's frustrating because like Stephen A says this all the time, and I honestly this is the one thing I agree with Stephen A. Kawhi Leonard is probably one of the biggest like letdowns of a superstar because like when Kawhi Leonard's there, like oh man, talk about somebody that does a little bit of everything on the court, and he's great at everything on the court. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard's it, but he's just so little availability. And one thing I always revert back to when I talk about injury prone players is like your best ability is availability. And if you're not available, then I don't know. I don't really. What am I gonna do with you? You know. So I hear you on that. You hope you get Kawhi Leonard, but I
Well,
don't know
I
if you
mean,
want to give up
well,
Jalen Green.
Jalen Green is a bigger issue because we talked about a lacking a number one. He would become their number one. That would
Kawhi.
solve a lot of their problems
But how
if he's
much is he going to
healthy.
be there? Yeah, but how
Yeah.
much is he going to be there? You know, and if you have a player like Kawhi, now you got to build a team around him, and now he's not there. Your team is incomplete. You have a team that's built around a player that's not there. That's an incomplete team. You know.
I did see the Intuit Dome under construction halfway. It looks good. I'm not going to kid you wrong. And when it comes out, it'll be the shiny new toy
For
for
sure.
all the concerts to go to, et cetera, et cetera. They'll take a lot of business away from the crypt and the forum. Unfortunately, I love the forum. I'm glad it's staying up. Yeah, have such a great affinity for the Los Angeles forum. But yeah, it will take a lot of the business. You'll start seeing all the concerts, the premier concerts going the Intuit Dome, and that'll piss off the crypt and the owners of the crypt. I still think that if it becomes a premier destination, John, for basketball related stuff, I think that Jeannie will start thinking about asking for her own arena. I think she'll go and see what she can do to get some funding for that from the city. Yeah, I just have that feeling. I just, because it's just one of those things with these owners, with these billionaire owners, like, oh, you have a nice arena. Oh, I would like one too of my own. So there you go. Absolutely. So yeah, don't be surprised. Just don't be surprised if that happens. But before we head out, my friend, your thoughts on Summer League? I got a chance to watch all the games. Lakers ended up winning their last 3 in a row, going 3-5 on the season. What are some of the highs and the lows for you for Summer League?
I think one of the highs for me was honestly just seeing the player that I thought Dalton Connect was, because I've always claimed, I don't get into much college basketball. So I just kind of, was going off the scouting report when we got Dalton Connect. I was like, all right, cool, a 6'4", 6'5" wing shooter, kind of what we need, better than having Vando out there. And then, after getting to watch him in summer league, I felt like I was I felt like I was correct about the scouting report. I was like, all right, cool, that scouting report was right. That's a player who fit right in. But I was also impressed of how he was able to actually put the ball on the ground a little bit more than what I even expected, to be honest with you. Bronny, I mean, what blew me away the most about Bronny was just the fan that he attracted. It's crazy in there, man. Like, when I'm watching the game at home, because unfortunately I couldn't make the trip out to Vegas, he like gets the ball and everyone's like, like just going crazy, and like that had me mind blown, because that will never ever happen again in summer league. So it was just funny to witness something like that. And then, but as far as like the play and what I'm saying, who he is as a player, I've said this before. I don't think he's an NBA level talent player just yet. I do think that over time he will be able to stick around in this league. I don't know for the Lakers, because I think he'll be able to ultimately be a role player. The one thing that I've said all the time is
Well,
like,
they have him for 3 guaranteed years plus a 4th as an option, so it's guaranteed that he's going to be on a roster for at least the next 3 years.
right. So I think, yeah, I think, and I honestly think that he'll be able to. I'm not saying contribute big time like 6 man of the year player numbers, but I'm saying like I think he'll be a player that he's enough to be on the roster, right? And that's because I think he's learned how to be a pro his whole life, and being a pro versus being a college basketball player is kind of different, and I think he's starting to get it. He's got a taste that his whole life. He might turn out to be okay.
I'm going to tell you a story because I told you I went live, and I
Mhm.
know that they've already heard this on Lakers Fast Break, but I wanted to tell your audiences on your 2 channels. I went to that game, and it was the big game for Bronny, and it was a crowd. He brought in a massive audience. He was the focus of the advertising. You went
Wow.
by the digital billboards on the freeways, and guess who you saw? You didn't see Reed Shepard at the front of it. You didn't see Zachary Richichet in the front. You didn't see Alexander Sarr on the front of the advertising. Guess who you saw? You saw a second rounder, Bronny James, at the front of the advertising. And I'm going to give Las Vegas, Thomas and Mack, some props on that, and the NBA for understanding that audience, because when it came time for that game, they had a crowd very close to, maybe you could say it was a little more than Victor Wembanyama's debut
I
last
was there
year.
for that one.
It was that size. Let's just put it that way. It's about
Wow.
90% full, to give you an
Wow.
idea. So, which
That's
was there
crazy.
for Bronny. And I'll tell you why. I can tell you it's for Bronny here in a second. But he came out, he played. It was sad, man. It was really sad because as he kept on missing shots, he kept on bricking threes. The laughter was getting louder and
Damn.
louder in the crowd. It was, you could hear it at every point in the arena, and it was getting, it was sad. It's getting really sad as he continued to struggle. As he got ready to take his 3-point shot, you could hear the Russell Westbrook groans like we used to have at the
Damn.
crypt that were there. People just groaning that they didn't want him to take it. And then the cat calls started to come out. A cat call. I know that's a dating me myself when I say that, but stuff, people saying stuff like, somebody yelling from the top, clearly, distinctly, you could hear it throughout the arena at a quiet time that he yelled out. First of all, he yelled out the Lakers are garbage. And then he yelled out that Bronny will have 40 points in its entire career. So
Damn.
and he yelled that so loud at a perfect time where you could hear it throughout the arena. And it was just, I felt bad for the kid.
I honestly feel bad for him too.
And after the game, you could tell they were here for Bronny, even after all the laughing and whatnot, because the next game was number 1 versus number 2, Alexander Sarr versus Zachary Ricochet, Atlanta versus Washington. 2/3 of the audience left before that game started. I am not kidding you. And it was just crazy. And it's after the game, he got ushered to the back. And I got Stone Hansen sent me something on Twitter. He sent me a picture of what it was like back behind the scenes. Because all I could see was I was there live and I was watching Dalton Connect, greet with the fans. He's talking to his mom. He's talking to some of his fellow players, greeting. He's signing autographs. That's all I could see because he was outside on the court after the game ends. Inside, Bronny got ushered into the media area, and Stone Hansen sent me a picture of what was going back on there. 30 or 40 members of the media were there on the Bronny side.
Really?
Reed Shepherd had his press conference right next to him. There was 4. To give Dylan about Houston, about the respect that Reed Shepherd had after the game, there was 4 members of the press waiting for, or 3 or something like that, waiting for Reed Shepherd, and over 30 waiting for Bronny James.
Wow, that's actually insane. So Stone was there, like in the back, like with.
No, he just got that from a friend, or you got to
Oh.
retweet it. I know he's just sent me a picture. I can always DM it to you on if you
That's
get me on Twitter.
crazy.
But yeah, I actually showed it to our audience. In fact, let me see if I can find it. I'll show it
That's
to you.
actually wild.
Yeah. So it was, again, it just shows you where we're at. The circus, which Joe Soro, one of my co-host, was fearful of, John. And to your audience, if you haven't heard Joe yet, please, you got to. He is very distinct. He's got a personality, and you can either love it or hate him. But he is right on a lot of things. I will give him credit on that, even though he never gives me any. And one of the things I'm going to give him credit on is the attention given to him and the circus, which is one of the reasons why I would not have selected Bronny James. But look at that. You see on the left, John? You see on the left?
I do. That's crazy.
That's the spot on the left for Reed Shepherd. On the right was the crowd gathering to talk to Bronny James.
That's crazy. I cannot believe that, Gerald. That's wild.
Yes. So when he sent that to me, I thought that's wild. So, yeah. Bloodhound says the Lakers have a lease till 2041. If the Lakers sell to Guggenheim, to see them building a new arena, if AG won't, they can always break leases. Bloodhound, if they can always work things out. If it's not doing enough, they can always. I mean, if the Lakers really want a new arena, or if Jeannie wants a new arena, she would try hard to petition for it. I think that again, we'll see with the Intuit Dome, if it becomes the favored child in LA, not the Clippers per se, but the Intuit Dome, that becomes the favorite child. You could see a new replacement for the Staples Center / crypto.com, because again, it's all about, it's a 25-year-old plus arena. It's too old for our what we need. So, I mean, remember the Anaheim Pond, everyone? I mean, it's still there. It's a beautiful arena. I still love the marble. Whenever, last time I was there, it's really one of the classy arenas, but it is over 30 years old. It has seen better days, and it's really hard to continuously get the money rolling in, because there's shinier brand new arenas out there. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, just a thought. just a thought, Bloodhound. They do have a lease till 2041, but you can always find ways around these. These they have got good lawyers. So if Jeannie wants a new arena, she'll start begging for a new arena. That's for sure. You're on mute, my friend. Yes, when you switched over. I don't think the microphone's hooked up on it. So, but it is John Costa, Clutch Talk, and Lakers Corner, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Again, Lakers Fast Break. If you are on Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner, hopefully you'll join me. We're on anywhere from 5 to 7 days a week on Lakers Fast Break. And then, John, I think I hear you now. I think
You
I
hear
hear
me
you.
now?
Yes,
Okay, good.
I hear you now.
Thanks.
Yeah, just great to be doing this cross promotional thing, and hopefully our shows. You're welcome to put your shows on Lakers Fast Break anytime you so choose, my friend. So
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you, Gerald, and appreciate everybody that stood around here in the chat. And yeah, like how Gerald said, you'll be seeing a lot more of all of our faces and all of our channels. So look forward to it.
I don't know. Do you really want to see Joe on your channels?
I
He's
do. I
kind of
do.
explicit. So
I want Joe. I want Gerald. I want Stone. I want I want L Rob. I want all the Lakers Fast Break family.
all right. Okay. I had a great conversation with Braxton Reynolds yesterday about OKC and Team USA. If you want to check that out, the Lakers Fast Break. Also had a good conversation with the legend 350 on Atlanta, Golden State, the Lakers, and Summer League. I was on Sunday. So, yeah, go ahead and give the Lakers Fast Break a try if you're on Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner, and vice versa, guys. If you're on Lakers Fast Break, as Kurt does, Kurt's got your back. John, he's got Lakers Corner right there.
Thank you, Kurt. Appreciate you,
Yeah,
brother.
absolutely, my friend. So, yeah, John, just keep up the great work, my friend, and always glad to go ahead and catch up with you. You and I will be back at it soon enough, doing more shows, doing more nightcaps, doing more post games. Can't wait. Can't wait, my friend.
Absolutely, Gerald.
It,
Absolutely.
but that's gonna do it for us. I guess no Joe. He's too busy sin blading, as I say. His company
Waiting.
Sinblades, Sinblades with a Y.com. Yes, he actually does really good work. If you are in the Southern California area and you do want to get rid of your natural and go more of uh, a lawn that doesn't need as much maintenance or anything like that, of course, he can do that for you at Simblades. Plus, he does a lot of other exterior outdoor stuff as well. So, $7,000. Great to have you here. Truly appreciate it. Yes, yes. Call of Duty MW3 just dropped on Game Pass. Yes, a big win for them, and you'll see more Activision titles there in the future. But yeah, man, great conversation with you. Yeah. Oh, Bronny. Yeah. Are you kind of irritated that Bronny won the NBA Call of Duty Players Championship and is focusing on that as much as he might be on his outside shot?
He needs to be in the gym, man. Don't be focusing on that game, Ronnie. Focus in the gym, all right? And Xbox Pass only. I have not drank wine since that time. No, I have not. I don't even have another glass of wine because I ended up throwing that wine bottle away. I didn't even finish it. That's
The
because I
one with the
felt
cork in it.
yeah
So
with the
yes.
cork in it because I felt like like am I just gonna leave this cork in the wine bottle like all night long? I feel like it's gonna disintegrate into the wine. Like I don't know. So I just ended up throwing it away.
Yes, Seven. He was. It was just. Sometimes I'll just find things that I know are going to piss off Joe, and yeah, him winning the Call of Duty NBA championship was something that I could really piss him off because it's obvious. Why is he focusing on that instead of working on his game even more? And I mean, is he going to go to wherever it is overseas right now and play in the esports championships that are I mean, there's money there. Great, yeah, but he's a basketball player, so $7,000, Gerald, and by the way, that's John Costa, $7,000, John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. What's our go-to liquor? I stopped drinking a long time ago, to be honest with you, but I'll give a shout out to what my dad used to drink. He used to drink he was a Coors guy. He's a Coors guy, and Foster and Lager, Foster's guy as well on the weekends. What's your go-to liquor? $7,000's asking.
$7,000. Nice to meet you too, brother. Like I said, I don't really drink, to be honest with you. But whatever wine that I had that last time that we were here was probably like literally the only alcohol that I've ever tasted that wasn't like it wasn't terrible. Because my problem with alcohol, and like I every time I tell this to people, people are always super shocked. But like I have never, I don't know if you consider whatever that was that night drunk, but I mean I was fine. I could have I could have literally drove if I really wanted to, but I would not that I would have. But I'm saying like the reason why I've never been drunk in my life is because like I've never drank an alcohol that has actually tasted good. Like any single alcohol, whether it's beer, wine, hard alcohol, it just hurts my throat. It doesn't go down my throat well. So I'm like, you know what? Like I'm good. Like I never drink enough to actually get intoxicated. So yeah, I'm not much of a alcohol person, but I guess whatever that little wine was last time, that was all right.
But I will tell you, my friend, it is great to have you here. Whether or not you want to drink with Joe, that's always up to you. But always great to have you here, my friend. And likewise, always great to be part of your channels as well, my friend. So.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Joe. And we both said it. The fans will be seeing more of us. The family will be seeing a lot more of us.
Absolutely. I know it's a dead time for the league right now, but we'll keep talking Team USA in August and September. I'm going to get into some NBA previews. I reach out to different reporters and specialists and experts from around the world. Some of them you've seen regularly on this show on my channel since then, but I do try to reach out and make a team preview for each and every team in the NBA. So that will be going on in August and September. So we try to keep you guys busy out there. So we try to keep you guys busy. So.
Yep. And for everybody out there, man, make sure you guys to hit that subscribe button to the Lakers Fast Break family, and make sure you guys show Gerald all the love. I tell you guys all the time, this man puts in work for the Lakers Fast Break. So appreciate it, everybody, and go show Gerald some love and show him some appreciation, because the work he puts in, I do not see a lot of other channels doing it, man.
Kurt, Laker Tom is our resident, very biased Lakers expert. I let him and Michael Heinrich and Jamie Sweet. I let them those guys. I'll let those guys argue over on the Lakerholic show on the weekend. That's why I gave them that hour. I gave them that hour and a half on the channel so they could go ahead and argue with each other. If you guys want to see some good arguments back and forth and people calling each other stupid and whatnot, go watch the Lakerholic spotlights we have virtually every weekend on this channel, on the Lakers Fast Break channel. It's really good. So yeah, if you listen to Laker Tom for 5 minutes, JJ Redick, I know you like JJ Redick. That's one thing. We'll end the show on that. I know you like JJ, but JJ Redick, according to Laker Tom, is a future legacy head coach, and Bronny James, future key rotation piece, as far as that's concerned. So you can take that for what it's worth. But your last thoughts? I don't have any opinion on the podcaster as of yet, JJ Redick, because I have to see it out on the floor, and I'm not going to give a total evaluation right away because he's brand new to NBA coaching. So I'm going to give him 10, 20, maybe even 30 games to find his footing. Although if the Lakers suck right off the bat, yeah, that won't be good. Maybe you'll hear from me sooner. But you in your shorts on your channels have been more kind to JJ Redick. You are buying in on what JJ Redick is selling.
I am buying in on what JJ Redick is selling. Not immediately. I don't think this will be like first game. It's like boom.
You can be honest if you are.
No, I am on the JJ Redick train. I do think that he will eventually be a good coach in this league. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it is going to be in the first year because, with like anything on this earth, there's a learning curve to everything, and he's going to be on that learning curve. Except he's literally in the NBA, which is the world's best league, and all this and all that. So it'll be a learning curve. But I do think as far as like X's and O's. Like he's got that down, right? Like he's a super orientated X's and O's guys. And this is much before his podcast that he had with LeBron. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I've been tuning into JJ Redick's podcast since 2018, 2019 when he started the Old Man of the Three. Well, even before the Old Man of the Three, it used to be called JJ Redick's podcast. That's literally what it used to be called. And I would always remember like thinking like, man, like every time I listen to this guy, I feel like I'm getting something like out of the game. And mind you, I'm not even in the NBA. I'm just listening to a podcast. So I can only imagine what he can do with, a staff that's all around him and him putting it together. Also, I do think that, like I said, I don't think it's going to be a one-time thing like that. But I also think that he's getting to build the players that he wants around him. Like Dalton Connect, in theory, Dalton Connect is a 6'4" wing shooter, right? It's going to be coming off a whole bunch of pin downs, a whole bunch of curl screens, catching a whole bunch of catch and shoot. That's literally exactly what JJ Redick built a career off, coming off pin downs, coming off curl screens, just catch and shooting. So I think that he'll be able to, have a good rookie like Dalton. He'll be able to build a team around him that he wants. Again, I don't think he's going to take us from where we are to a championship, but I also think that you cannot get any worse than Darvin Ham. So that's where I'm at with that.
I will say this, Kurt, we could use all the help we can get. So it's nice that they have built more experienced head coaches around JJ Redick's staff. I'm assuming that JJ Redick made the choices or had the input himself as opposed to assigned like Rob has done previously. So as long as they're working more in conjunction with each other on that, it seems like it's a good experience. Although, again, I thought it was funny because, again, Harding, the young lady who got hired, the G League Coach of the Year, who got hired as an assistant coach for the Lakers. If you're Dane Johnson and you're this is the time, he was 0-5. He's the South Bay G League coach. And he's the summer league coach, and he was 0-5 in summer league. And then all of a sudden the next day he sees that the G League Coach of the Year, his peer, got hired ahead of him on the spot that he wants on the assistant coaches for the Lakers. I thought that was kind of ironic and funny at the same time. Just shows you what the team has confidence in Dane Johnson right now. But again, I think it is a pretty good staff. I know Joe doesn't care one iota about assistant coaches, but I think they are a valuable tool in helping this team develop, and especially with the youth on this team, John. It is critical that the Dalton Connects, the Max Christies, and even to a lesser extent, Maxwell Lewis and Bronny James, two of those four guys start to develop and be able to make a contribution sooner rather than later. So I believe player development is crucial for the Lakers at this point.
Absolutely. I'm right there on board with you, Gerald. Right there with you.
Man, great conversation. Great to have everyone here. It is John Costa, Clutch Talk at Lakers Corner. Please follow his channels, subscribe, do whatever as you can. And then, of course, myself, Gerald, and of course, Joe and the Lakerholics and everybody that's a part of the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate it. Yeah, like you said, Kurt, Pelicans had a shooting coach that helped Lonzo with a shot. We have no such thing. I thought Mike Penberthy, when he was here, I thought he was the shooting guy. Am I wrong on that, Kurt? Let me know. I thought Penberthy was the guy that was supposed to be the shooting expert on that, but I may be wrong on that. But John, any last thoughts before we head on out, my friend?
No last thoughts besides I hope that the Lakers Fast Break family is ready for this flood of content that we're about to bring, man. Gerald always talks about, always trying to be putting out content and be as live as much as possible. Well, Gerald, we'll be doing that a lot more, man. So appreciate you for this time. I honestly love talking to you about basketball. Love getting in here with the Lakers community that we have, and it's just another, I'm just looking forward to the next stream at this point.
Oh, and one last thing. Somebody gave me the note. Why did you? What happened to your Lakers uniforms, Gerald, and the behind you? They're just getting cleaned. calm down. I'm not losing my Lakers fandom, but every year I will take, one time and wash all the uniforms I got back. I got 6 of them. So don't worry. They'll be back up soon. ASAP. Just got to keep them clean and smelling fresh. There you go. So just want to make sure. When was the last time you watched LeBron?
LeBron everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. My computer froze, but I watch LeBron probably like every once in a while because I don't ever wear these. I'm gonna be honest. I never wear these, and
I wear them occasionally. Like my daughter did too when we went to T&M. So yeah, I occasionally still do. So
yeah. I don't watch them much, but I just have so many jerseys. I'll like swap them out. But I always keep this one because I'm in the Lakers corner, so I gotta at least have one Lakers one.
All right, fair enough. But yes, they will be back up ASAP. So don't worry, Lakers fans. I'm just gonna show my Laker fandom here in the not too distant future once again.
We're watching you, Gerald.
Yeah. What? Well, I get called out on that. Anything that changes behind me, because you're watching us for like an hour and a half each day. Then
they're watching.
Yeah, they're watching. They notice things. So Kurt says I was right about Mike. I just remembered it. It's just like I thought he was the shot guy. Yeah. He said AD had the best shooting mechanics on the team. Yeah, we see how far that one went. I still feel bad. Z, who was a great part of our audience, I always kept having to be the bad guy and kept disagreeing with her because she was so much buying in on the Darvin Ham 5-out thing, and I'm like, AD as a career 28% 3-point shooter, that's not going to change. And now we're talking about how giving AD more shots from the outside will cure that, and I was like. Yeah, and he started out good, started out promising, and then it slid down. And where did he end up? Around 28% again. And I'm just saying the statistics don't bear out. He is a guy that you want underneath or at the best taking mid-range shots, but his mid-range game is kind of gone the way too, south as well. So AD would be so much better if you run him off pick and rolls, run him in actions, run him in sets, and get him on post-ups. Keep him active, keep him there, keep him on the move, keep him up for lobs. That's where he's best at. And I think that hopefully JJ Redick will understand that. If he has him sitting out there, John, chucking up 5 threes a game, we might as well just go ahead and just pack it in again. Because that's just not how you win. It's not how you win with AD at this point in time. Yeah. How Team USA is winning with him is how you win with AD. So,
agreed. Yeah, AD's 3-point shooting is atrocious, and we're all wishing he can do what he did in 2020 again. That's what we're wishing for.
Yeah, I mean, he found that in the bubble, and I don't think it's coming back. That was under controlled circumstances. I just think that was a once in a career time frame for him. Yeah, you can get AD to play at a level as an MVP level, but don't ask him to be an outside shooter because that's something he just can't
do. Yeah, it's not part of his game.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. John, just great having you on, and you're going to be seeing more cross multi-streams from us in the future. So be prepared for it, and for your audience, John, be prepared for Joe Soro because when he comes on here, he's a different beast altogether. So
I'm ready for it.
All right.
Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. And wishing everybody all the best. Thanks for joining us. And again, any comments, put it down below on our channels or for me, LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. John, you've got a contact that
you could just honestly Instagram @ClutchTalkPod. So all one word. And then Lakers_corner. That's my Instagram. DM me. I'd love to talk to anyone. And as always, check me out on YouTube, Lakers Corner, and Clutch Talk. Get at me, man.
All right. Thanks again for joining us. We'll be back most likely tomorrow as well. If not, got some great stuff coming at you here in the not too distant future, plus Team USA later on here in the week. We'll go ahead and talk about that as well. So thanks again for everybody for joining us, and we'll see you soon on Clutch Talk, Lakers Corner, and the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.